Hi, welcome back to the show if you're new here. My name is Shelby and I'm the host of My Perspective. Happy New Year, everyone. I can't believe by the time I'm putting out this episode, it's 2024. Every year, I just can't understand how time is going by so quickly, and I'm getting older. I still remember when it was 2012 and everyone was wearing those 2012. I think I even remember when it was 2008 and I was in preschool or elementary school and we wore the 200 like little eyeglasses for New Year's or something, but it's just wild. This episode is all about new year, new you, how to be healthy. So I wanted to share my New Year's goals, but I was like, okay, you guys don't really care about what I'm going to do for this new year. So I was trying to think, what do most people want on their New Year's goals, New Year's resolution? It's to be healthier. Everybody knows the stereotype that the gym is just so packed in January, and so many people complain about that. So I was trying to take into account what's the most popular thing people want to do in the new year, and it's usually to become a healthier version of themselves. I consider myself a fairly healthy person. I have always grown up this way. I've made the habits. I guess it's just ingrained in me to be a little bit healthier than the average American. And I honestly think that takes into account my dad was a first-gen American, and then my mom's a first-gen American. Or no, my mom's an immigrant. So I think I didn't grow up the traditional American lifestyle because technically both of my parents were a child of an immigrant or they were themselves. So I think I grew up in a very blended type of environment of cultures, which I think is so awesome. And I'm very, very proud, grateful that way. So I think I'm the perfect person to talk about this. And I'm getting my health coaching license right now. So I'm not just pulling stuff out of my butt. I actually have a little bit of knowledge behind this. Also for this episode, we're going to go over all things of health, not just working out, not just eating well. I would love to just talk about one of those things, but I think becoming a better version of yourself encompasses a lot more than just eating well and working out. I'm not going into like a whole glow up session. I just want to give you more of a step-by-step. I also was debating on making this more comprehensive for people like myself who are already healthy or someone who's just starting out on their health journey. And so instead of doing one or the other, I decided to blend them and I separated things into steps. So step 1, if you're first time, have never done anything, never seen a gym, never ate a vegetable, and then it goes into step 1, 2, 3, 4. And so then you can just listen in, come back, or start wherever you think you lay better. But before we get into the episode, because I'm already so excited to talk about it, let's get into today's segments. If you're new here, I love to give you updates on my life, things I love, things I dislike of this week, to just keep it a little bit more personal, get to know myself, so I'm not just this random person telling you advice. So it's someone you actually feel you have a connection towards, that we're friends, I'm more of a big sister. Whatever type of person you need in your life, I'm there for you. So starting off is updates. First off, I haven't released an episode since Christmas. I took a little 2-week break. Christmas was so great. We had so many events, Max and I, so I really need a date night with just him and I. But we had many Christmas events back to back, I think maybe 4 or 5 days in a row. Love spending time with family. Christmas is my favorite time of the year. I love the ambiance, the decorations, the family time, being grateful, the food, all of that. So I really tried to take it all in, and I can't believe it's already over. It felt so quick. I think I'm going to be that person that celebrates Christmas starting in October, the older I get, and then keeping my Christmas tree up until Valentine's Day like my sister. Christmas was great. If you think the pod sounds a little bit different, if you listen to a few episodes, I got new equipment. So that was my biggest Christmas gifts from my family, was I got 2 new mics, and then I ordered myself the audio mixer. Officially, we are going to start having interviews, which I always wanted this podcast to be mainly interview based. Obviously that dream changed a little bit, but we're going to have interviews on here, and I'm so excited, you all, because I can only share so much information, and I feel there are so many people out there who are well-equipped, experts in their field, and I just want to share all that knowledge with you. And I love having conversations with people. We're just gonna have so many exciting things coming, and also we're coming up on 1 year of me having the podcast, which is insane, and I'm so grateful for this platform and everyone who listens. And it's honestly been one of the best and hardest passions I've had. It's definitely challenged me to be creative, to put myself myself out there to, come up with weekly episodes, plan what I'm going to talk about, actually be able to talk to a mic for over an hour and edit and post it and market it. Definitely something I'm most proud of myself for this year. And so many other things this year. Like, I didn't accomplish everything that I was on my New Year's resolutions, but I'm very proud of myself for everything that I even tried to do or got a little bit better at. I'm definitely not the person that looks back on the year and kind of shames myself. Sometimes I do get disappointed, but I know that it's only 365 days. That's actually, if you think about it, not that much. So I need to give myself a little bit more grace. I love the new year. I love a new week, a new month. Any reset, even a day, every day is a new reset, is so exciting to me. That's why New Year's resolutions, I get very excited because it's just a fresh start to whatever you want to accomplish in your life, and you can accomplish everything you want. And I'm very proud of myself for everything I have accomplished. Every year just gets a little bit better. So at the end of this episode, I'm going to share with you all of my New Year's resolutions I have for myself, maybe a little bit about how I'm going to get there. I'm going to keep this year a lot more low-key than previous years. I am a specific manifester. I looked that up in my whatever it's called website. I think I was a little too specific this year, and I just want to let myself relax, recharge this year. I think this 2023, I had a lot going on. I did a lot of things, and I put a lot of things on my plate. And I think 2024, the word for myself is recharge, relax, like slow living, basically. Oh yeah, my other updates, because I just keep rambling. I got a new job, or a second job. I'm doing a part-time admin and social media for a physical therapist here in Costa Mesa. So stoked for that. There's so many great benefits and it's fully remote. I'm very excited because it's still the health and wellness field. So it's something I'm passionate about. It's great connections. I'm just very glad that by the end of the year, I basically have 2 jobs now. I'm going to have to figure out the work-life balance because I'm practically working 11 hours a day, which is a lot, less than some people, but a little bit of a shift for me. But I'm so grateful. I gave myself a year to find a full-time job. It took me 6 months. So glad about that, or maybe 5 months. And then lastly, for New Year's, I'm hosting a pregame for all Max's friends, and then we're going over my sisters and then the bars. If you don't have plans for the New Year's, I'm actually sort of jealous. I really wanted this New Year's to just be me, Max, do something very wholesome, like a dinner date, movie, next morning go to breakfast. But not everybody has the same plans. So we are going out. I don't really want to start the new year hungover, drunk, but last time I did go out, I had a great time with his friends, and my sister will also be there, so maybe it will be fine. But just know, if you don't have plans going out for New Year's, or you didn't, and you just were at home and you went to bed before New Year's or before 12 o'clock, don't feel bad. Honestly, you're starting your new year off right, waking up early, going to a workout class, maybe feeling good in your body. I think that is just as beneficial and a great way to start off the year than a lot of other people. My like of this week, or my obsession, has been trying new health foods. I recently went to Whole Foods with my aunt, and she bought my groceries as if I was still a broke college student, which technically I still feel like it because I graduated a year early. But I picked up a lot of new health foods, or just things that I love but they don't sell at Sprouts, and or things that are very expensive and I try not to purchase very often. So that was very exciting this week because I got to buy all these fun things, and also I shared them on TikTok. My TikTok I've been feeling a little bit more inspired on there. If you don't follow the pod on Instagram and TikTok, it's Shelby, and it's also My Perspective Pod. Go check it out. Give the pod some love on Instagram. And then my dislike was I was sick for Christmas, and pretty much like the week or the couple days leading up to Christmas and then the week of Christmas. I think mainly because I was so go. There were so many events and I wasn't really resting that much. Also, to just top it off, because I was sick, my joint pain came back, and now I'm thinking that my joint pain is correlated with my immune system and just being sick, or maybe even cross-contamination of gluten. I'm not really sure, but that was actually hell. I was in a lot of pain. I have a lot to talk about for this podcast, so we're just going to continue for this episode of how to be the best version of yourself going into the new year, new you, or just how to build healthy habits this year. Feel good in your body, physically, mentally, all around. I have 3 pillars. We're going to start off with 3 pillars, and then we're going to end off with simple pleasures. We're going to go out over nutrition, workout, mental health. We're going to do a little array of everything, okay? My 3 pillars for myself has been cooking at home, moving as much as possible, and taking care of yourself. I think these are my biggest takeaways that I want to start with, and we're also going to end with a little bit of that. I think the word of this episode, or just this new year, is simplify. Simplify your routines, be more of a minimalist. As someone who's really into wellness, I see so much content on social media about 5 tips to make a morning routine, 5 items you need to buy. There's a lot of information being thrown at you, and I think that we need to focus more on simplicity, especially for the people who are just getting on their health journey. It's very overwhelming if you've never walked into a gym, if you've never ate a veggie in your life, if you don't drink water, you just drink straight soda. It's very overwhelming when someone's telling you, go get your gut tested, go buy all these ingredients to make a meal at home, and you've never cooked for yourself. So I really think the word of this episode, the word for this new year, is to be simple. Simplify your routine, simplify all the information you're taking in. You need to start off really small. That is why I set this episode off into steps, because you might come in here very square one, or you might come in here someone who already has started their health journey a year ago. So you don't really need to start off at step 1. And I also think that it's super important for you to set realistic goals for yourself, because like I said, I don't know where you're coming in on your health journey. You could be a bodybuilder already and you don't need advice on exercise. Set realistic goals for yourself so you don't disappoint yourself in the new year. Don't overwhelm yourself with so many things. I think as people, it's more important to have the basic necessities, and that's why I brought up cooking at home, resting, that sort of stuff, because that's more important than X, Y, and Z of what everyone's telling you to do. I think we need to start smaller for the people who are overwhelmed and have so much information being thrown at them. We're going to start off with nutrition. I'm a holistic health coach, so this is everything I'm learning in school right now. This is for the person who's really just starting their health journey with eating well, being more nutritious, trying to just incorporate a little bit more into their life. So I want to talk about the method called crowding out. This idea is focusing on incorporating healthy foods into your diet instead of focusing on everything you shouldn't be having. You're focusing more on the good instead of fixating on every little ingredient or food group that is deemed as the enemy. For instance, I think it's really important to focus more on protein, on vegetables. When you're coming in with a nutritional approach and you have no basis of what's good for you or not good for you, I would incorporate more colorful fruits and veggies into your diet. I want you to incorporate more protein into your diet. So when you go to grab your breakfast, you're going to make eggs, you're going to add bacon, maybe you're going to add some slices of cucumber. So instead of me telling you, don't eat the sugary cereal, don't eat crepes, don't eat French toast, instead of me telling you all these things you shouldn't be having, I'm telling you, oh, have your cereal, but then maybe have a little cucumber on the side, or maybe have a slice of an apple. Instead of restricting yourself of all the things you love, sometimes when you restrict yourself or people tell you can't have this or that, you forget all the other things that you can have. You get a little bit of debilitation because you're like, oh, well, if I can't have this, this, and this, what can I have? And I felt that because I one time went to the doctor's and he was like, you need to do the elimination diet. And then I found out I'm pretty much intolerant to everything out there. And he was like, okay, all you can eat is chicken and rice until your stomach starts to heal itself, and then you can incorporate other things. And I totally flipped out because if I can only eat chicken and rice, like, how is there nothing else I can eat? So I think instead of telling people you can't eat X, Y, and Z, you need to start with all the things they should add that they don't already add. Maybe you don't eat protein, so maybe we should start incorporating 10, 20, 30 grams of protein. Or maybe you don't eat vegetables. So we're going to start with one vegetable you think you may like. Cucumbers, bell peppers, anything, really. When you're incorporating a bunch of colorful fruits and vegetables, that means they have a ton of minerals, antioxidants, and vitamins in them. Every color actually distinguishes another health benefit or another mineral, something else in your routine. When I was doing my health coach class, they were telling us, what color do you have the least of? And when I was thinking of it, I have the least of blue and purple. So blueberries, grapes, I can't even honestly think of other fruits and vegetables of those colors, but I need to incorporate more of those because I usually lack them. I have a lot of reds, I have a lot of greens, and so I need to get more of a diversified palette. Second is you need to drink water. So many people go without drinking water, whether they don't like the flavor, they don't like the taste of it, or they just forget. And I get it. Sometimes water is just so inconvenient, and we have sodas out there, we have Starbucks drinks, coffee, all types of things nowadays. Water is so important for every function in your body. Instead of me telling you, don't drink coffee, don't drink XYZ, I'm just going to tell you to drink more of water. The crowd out method is just incorporating more into your diet, and then you'll actually have less of a desire to have the chips, to have the sugar, to have whatever that is, because you're adding in more, and then it will slowly crowd out the rest of the foods. So I want you to drink more water, as simple as that is. Water is so good for your digestion, for your nutrient absorption, for your skin, your hair. And if you don't know where to start, I would start with drinking half your body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 100 pounds, you're going to drink 50 ounces of water that day. And maybe you don't even know how to get there. So either go buy or pick out your favorite water bottle. I love water bottles with a straw. It makes me drink so much more water. Also, I kind of get addicted when I buy a new water bottle. So when I first got my Stanley, I would drink 6-8 cups of that Stanley every single day. And I think it's like 40, I think my water is 40 ounces. So I was drinking an insane amount of water. Ever since I was a kid, I was always attached to my water bottle. I used to get migraines, and my mom told me it was because I was dehydrated. Actually, I think it was for another reason, which I don't, maybe it was gluten or something like that, but I carried my water bottle with me everywhere. And one time in gymnastics, they told me I couldn't have my water, and then we had to keep it at the counter, but I had to drink my water after every single rep and routine in gymnastics. So basically I freaked out and was the only kid that was allowed to have their water bottle on the floor because I was so obsessed with drinking my water, and my coach just got so fed up with me walking to my cubby every minute basically to get water. So maybe get a water bottle that you absolutely love, maybe with a straw. If you hate the taste of water for some reason, add in some lemon, add in some berries, one of those electrolyte packets, add in whatever you think will help you absorb more water. If you go to the restroom a lot because you drink so much water, I know that can be inconvenient and it's so annoying, add a little pinch of salt. Some people say, no, that does the opposite. It actually doesn't, because it will help you absorb the water and have less of that diuretic effect of always needing to go to the restroom. And honestly, the smallest amount of salt, you won't even notice it. Another tip is to carry your water bottle with you everywhere. I actually have a few water bottles. I keep one in my house. I keep one in my car, at work. I obviously go and wash them, but having a water bottle with me at all times helps me drink more water. I just am always thirsty for some reason. I think it's just how I grew up, of always drinking water, to where currently right now my mouth is just completely dry. Like I have to take just a sip of water to make my mouth wet. Another tip to get in more water is to drink water right when you wake up. If you have one, not only having a glass of water next to your bed will help you wake up, because when your alarm rings, you grab that water, you drink it, you're pretty much awake by then. But 2, if you chug water right when you wake up, you basically are dehydrated all night because you're not drinking water for 8+ hours. So your body really, really needs it. I need to get better at drinking water in the morning. I usually drink my matcha right away. And then another way to get in water if you have a hard time is to drink a glass of water with every meal. Instead of grabbing a soda or maybe a coffee, or maybe you just are a beverage girly and you have 3 beverages with you, totally fine. When you get your lunch, fill up a glass of water and have that with your meal. Easy peasy. I wanted to talk a little bit how I do these things as I go. And for the crowd out method, I started to slowly do the crowd out method by just incorporating more whole foods into my diet. And I think it slowly pushed out having so much dessert at night. If I have a full meal for dinner, I'm usually not craving a sweet for dessert. So I think I had to just realize that the more I incorporated of whole foods that made me feel good, the less I craved sweets, everything else that's not the best for me. Step 2 is for the people who are still in the beginning journey of their health journey, but not very new. You've already incorporated maybe eating a little bit more vegetables, that sort of stuff. Step 2 in your nutrition journey is to eat food before your caffeine. I'm not telling you to stop having your caffeine, the process of it happening. Eating before having caffeine will actually stabilize your blood sugar levels, which will prevent jitterness and prevent a crash later in the day. I really wish that blood sugar balancing was taught in my college nutrition classes. They literally told us that drinking chocolate milk after you work out is good for you. How is that still in the books today? I don't know. Maybe a way for you to incorporate food before your caffeine is to start your coffee running or whatever it is, how you make it, and eat your breakfast while it brews. So by the time your breakfast ends, your cup of coffee is ready for you. Or maybe if you need something really quick, like you're going straight to the gym and you just were going to grab a cup of coffee, maybe grab a banana, maybe grab a little vegetable or an apple. Get something in your system to just help yourself absorb and not get the jitters, because I know if I have caffeine on an empty stomach, I have the worst anxiety all day, and nobody wants to be around you when you're super anxious, and you don't even yourself want to feel that way. Help yourself in the moment to prevent anxiety and jitteriness and that afternoon crash. Also, caffeine is a diuretic, which makes you go to the restroom more throughout the day. So it's super important that you stay very well hydrated throughout the day, so you're adequately hydrated. Okay, next is you want to cook at home more. This is something I've really incorporated since, actually I've always been pretty good at eating at home. You really want to incorporate eating at home more for step 2. Cooking at home prevents you from having an excess of portions. Like when you cook at home, you have control over the portions. You have control about what oils and what ingredients you're using. It's also a lot easier to make better health choices when you're cooking at home, because when you go out to a restaurant, you see this whole menu. Oh my God, I can get whatever I want. You might go a little crazy, which is totally fine. We all need to enjoy a meal out. But if you're trying to make yourself a little bit healthier in the new year, I would highly recommend incorporating eating at home maybe once or twice more a week than you already do. I personally cook at home majority every single meal. Cooking at home saves you money. It makes you feel better. You are proud of the accomplishment of you made that meal. I know that if I chopped all the ingredients and I sauteed all the ingredients, I made this beautiful meal for me and my boyfriend, I feel so much better, because it's not this instant gratification of you order, you receive, you finish, you leave. It's a whole process, and sometimes you don't have the energy for that. I understand that. It's definitely something I'm very proud of myself, saying that I have cooked probably 90% of my meals throughout this year. And I know that I have avoided excess oils, excess sugar, salt, whatever it is when I cook at home, because I have control over what's going into my body and the quality of my food. How I cook at home so much is I use Sunbasket. I've talked about this so many times. Sunbasket is a meal kit delivery service. I have tried literally every single meal kit service out there. I stuck with Sunbasket. Basically, every single meal delivery service has a free trial or a discounted week, and I did every single one my sophomore year of college. So that was 2 years ago, and I stuck with Sunbasket because all their ingredients are organic. They'll tell you if it wasn't organic and if it was switched out. All their ingredients are made in-house. So if you get a pita bread, they made that pita bread in-house in LA. And I'm also local to LA, so I know that the produce is pretty fresh coming to my house. The meat, you can decide if you want it organic or wild caught, everything. So I obviously pick the organic option, and they also have pre-made meals, so some that you could just pop into the oven, pop into the microwave, which is really great for the super busy people. So that delivery service is, I usually get about 3, and so then that equates to 6 meals throughout the week, which is almost every single dinner. I usually will cook for 2 for dinner, and then that is my lunch for the next day. So that, I guess, is like my micro version of meal planning. And I also cook at home. Breakfast, super easy. I usually do bacon, eggs, and maybe like a little vegetable. Bacon, eggs, vegetable, yeah. And then I would say for lunch, it's usually my leftover from dinner, and then dinner is Sunbasket. If I already ate all my Sunbasket for the week, my go-tos is salmon, rice, and seaweed, or pasta with, I do gluten-free protein pasta with a meat and a sauce and some vegetables. I honestly don't have that many go-to meals because I have Sunbasket so often. So I'd say those are my 2 go-to, pasta and salmon. I don't really make anything else, maybe tacos. I recently bought the, what's it called? Siete refried beans, and I'm actually really excited to try those. I don't know. I love Siete. It's such a good brand. Refried beans are so yummy. Okay, step 3. So let's say you're already good at drinking water. You're already good at eating your vegetables. You cook at home a lot. So what's step 3 in this station? Step 3, something that you can do to better your health in the new year is to switch from coffee to matcha or tea. Matcha and tea contains antioxidants, including caseins, I think that's how you pronounce it, which provides a very sustained release of caffeine compared to coffee, and it leads to a gentler energy boost and less jitters. I wrote a whole paper in college about matcha over coffee. Coffee is, if it's not organic and mold free, it can contain mold. It gives people anxiety. There obviously are benefits to coffee, like such as it's an antioxidant. A lot of people abuse coffee to get rid of their hunger cues, to make them go to the restroom more, stuff like that. And I think that the cons weigh out the pros of coffee, and matcha only has pros in my eyes. The matcha you want to buy is organic, ceremonial grade Japanese matcha. I get mine from Sprouts. I know Peak is a really great brand. I actually have a discount code, so if I can find it, I'll link it in the description. With them, I buy their to-go ones for traveling. And then also, matcha contains the amino acid L-theanine, which is known to promote relaxation and focus. Also, tea has antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals, and tea also has a lower caffeine level, making it way better for people trying to reduce their caffeine intake. Also, if you have a hard time going to bed at night, your caffeine percentage, so like say it's like 100 milligrams a cup, I don't really know how much milligrams is in a cup of coffee, but if you say you have a coffee at 8 a.m. and then you have a coffee at noon and then you have a coffee at 2 p.m. and you're like, oh, my last coffee was at 2, like I should be able to go to bed. But really all your milligrams of caffeine compounds over the day. So really you're going to bed with 300, let's say each cup had 300 milligrams of caffeine in your system, even if you think that the 8 a.m. coffee like went away by that time. It hasn't. So matcha is great for your skin, great for other things too. But tea, which I really love about tea, I got really into tea this year and last year, is one, there's so many types of teas out there. I take turmeric tea for inflammation. I take red raspberry leaf for my menstrual cramps, nettle leaf in my follicular phase. There's so many benefits of tea. Everybody knows there's bedtime tea. I just think that there's so many options out there. There's so many flavors. They're so yummy. Make sure you're buying organic or loose leaf and making your own little concoctions. It's so exciting. I love tea. I wish everybody loved tea as much as me. It's such a great wind down routine as well, to just start the kettle or your heater, whatever you use, and then pour yourself a cup of tea and then read your book, It just sets the vibes for the night. Also in step 3 is you're going to find better for you options. What I mean by this is when you're going to the grocery store, say you drink almond milk. Instead of like when you look at the almond milk, say you buy the almond milk silk. I think I used to buy that when I was in high school. It's full of preservatives and gums and sugar. There is a better option for you, milk option. So maybe that's milk, or Califia now has a new one that's organic and only 3 ingredients, or maybe it's 3 trees. So whatever you absolutely love, it's Oreos, it's bread, whatever, you can start with like one product. When you go to the grocery store, look at whatever product that is and try to find a better option. A really great example is if you love chips, Siete is a very great brand that is super high quality, and you can find whatever flavor you absolutely love in the Siete brand. So I think finding better for you options is a little bit more work, but I think if you start with one item at a time, then you slowly can eat all your favorite snacks, all your favorite foods, but a little bit healthier. And the reason why this is in step 3 is because I think this is a little bit harder for people to do and takes a little bit more work. So I definitely want this to be in step 3 for the people who already have a lot of their nutrition health in line. Kind of also going with the better for you options is quality over quantity. I think that in my nutrition classes, they talked a lot about calories, which I don't think calories are created equal. I don't think that let's say for instance, 100 calories of carrots equates to 100 calories of chips. They don't. Your body uses the energy different. And I think that if people focused on the quality of their food over the quantity, we would feel and look a lot better than the average American. Even if you're eating less and working out more and more, but you're still eating not well, you're not going to get as good of results as if you're eating well, but the right amount. Your body can't sufficiently keep going off little food and keep expending all those energy. Food is energy. Calories is energy. So if we just keep limiting less and less food, we're going to be tired, we're going to be anxious and angry. You need to eat more. But if you're gonna eat more, I think people who calorie restrict or count their like anything when it comes to restriction, I think that's a lot harder than just buying the better for you option. I'm not even saying like when you go out to eat, because that sometimes is a luxury for people and that's very exciting, and even I do that. Oh, I would never get this, so I'm gonna get this tonight. But I'm thinking for your everyday groceries. I'm not buying I'm trying to think of something that I buy that's a little bit better for you than the traditional. Okay, let's say I'm gonna go buy brownies. I'm going to buy the better for me option brownies or the better for me option pancakes. Like, I want to make sure it has high protein in it and has less sugar and stuff like that, versus finding the pancakes that have the least amount of calories, or only letting myself have 1 pancake versus 5 pancakes. If I'm hungry for 5 pancakes, I'm going to eat 5 pancakes. Your body is telling you what it's needing, and I think we need to listen to that more. To me, it's easier for me to enjoy something when I know it has a lot of health benefits to it. So sometimes I like to break down the macros or the minerals or the vitamins that are inside it. It makes me feel better about eating something, because I'm like, oh, this is really good for my body, instead of thinking, oh my gosh, this has so many calories in it, and I'm gonna pick the lowest calorie option on the menu. I think there's a lot more to food than just the calorie content. That's a little bit of a rant for me. Okay, last step for food. Step 4 for the girl who is almost basically already eats very well, okay? Get tested for deficiencies in your body, gut health, hormones. I think this is the best way, because since there's so much information of wellness supplements out there, people kind of start taking a lot of things that they don't need, and it can be harmful. You're taking the wrong dosages. I get texts from my friends all the time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're taking way too much of the daily allowance for whatever that mineral or vitamin is. And a lot of the times we don't actually need it. I know for a fact I'm deficient in vitamin D and iron, I think. I take vitamin D. So not only are you going to get tested for gut health, hormones, deficiencies in your minerals and vitamins, but then you can go out and actually purchase the supplements that are for you, for the dosage for you, the quality for you. And when you're looking for a supplement, make sure it is a reputable brand that undergoes third-party testing for its quality and purity. There is a lot of snake oil out there, which means it is complete BS. They are selling you something, they're marketing for you, and it does nothing. And so I really try to only buy supplements that are super high quality. Yes, it may be more expensive, but why don't waste your money on a supplement, a random supplement from Walmart or Amazon, and it's not doing anything for you, because then you're just wasting your money, and it can do more harm than good. Another thing with getting tested for gut health and hormones, I have a whole episode about gut health and hormones and what happened when I got tested for them, but pretty much when I got tested for my gut health, I found out I had a lot of overgrowth and undergrowth of bacteria. I cannot eat gluten for the life of me. 2 doctors have told me that. And then for my hormones, I found out I was not producing 3 of the major hormones in my body. And I had a ton of autoimmune triggers. So I think getting tested is a better way than just trying a bunch of the wellness things that everyone's telling you to do. It's like throwing spaghetti at a fridge and hoping it sticks. Why not just do something you know you need that will work? Next, in step 4, is to listen to your body for its hunger cues and it's for its satisfaction cues. So intuitive eating. I think I bored eat a lot, especially when I'm driving. I love to have a little snack on me, but I'm not really hungry. I'm just bored eting. Or sometimes I cooked a meal and in my head, I'm like, you gotta finish it. You gotta finish your whole plate. But really, I don't. I can box it up, eat it for tomorrow. I'm an adult now. I don't have a parent telling me I have to finish my plate. I don't have a parent telling me I have to eat my vegetables. I think I need to listen to myself more. And I think this is something that's more on the difficult side for people to do. That's why it's in step 4 of how to be healthier in the new year, is to listen to your body. Listen what it needs. Does it need more food? Does it need less food? Is it craving meat? Is it craving veggies? Your body tells you what it needs. And we just have to be more in tune with ourselves to actually listen and know what it wants. Another thing is eating more thoroughly. This will help your bloating. This will help digestion of your food, is to chew more. I think a lot of the times we gulp down our food. We're in a rush. We don't eat down, or we don't sit down and eat our food and relax. We're just always on the go or watching TV while you eat. And sometimes we literally don't chew our food enough. So make sure you're chewing thoroughly. It will help you in all different types of ways. Another one is eat seasonally. A part of the step 4 is a little bit more complex, as you can tell already, but eating seasonally has higher nutrient context. It's better for the environment. It's actually kind of fun because you switch up what you're eating. It goes along with the seasons. I cycle sync. I can't find this on my list, but cycle syncing is really great because it helps me switch up my diet almost every week, and it kind of goes along with the seasonally thing as well. But don't be too complex on yourself if that seems complicating. But I just found a template off Pinterest, and when I go to the grocery store, I look at what foods I should incorporate into my diet. I don't tell myself you can't have this or that. I just incorporate more. Another is eating organic. This is definitely something more of a privilege, especially if it's a money constraint, but eating organic helps you reduce exposure to pesticides. I've always ate organic. My family has very grilled that into my brain. I was that little kid that told people, oh my God, that's not organic. Yes, that was me. I didn't know better. I didn't know that could hurt someone's feelings. I have always been a huge fan of organic. It is more expensive to eat organic, so I understand that. And there is a thing called the Dirty Dozen by the Environmental Working Group has created this list of foods that have a higher pesticide residue. So it tells you the dirty dozen of things you should always buy organic, and then some things that you don't really have to buy organic. Another thing is to avoid more processed foods or sugary foods. I think when you're selecting snacks or packaged foods, it's important to kind of know what you're putting into your body, identify added sugars or artificial ingredients. I'm not a huge fan of telling people to read labels, but if you're completely blindsided, have no idea what you're putting into your body, maybe that's something you can do if you don't abuse it. Try to find products that are more simple with recognizable ingredients that just as something, if you look at the ingredients and you have all those ingredients in your home or you can make that, great. If it is a bunch of ingredients where it looks like chemicals, maybe not so great. Maybe pick the better option. But I'm not saying that every single item in your house has to be completely perfect. It's just maybe pick a few items that can help you on your nutrition life. Personally, I'm going to share what I do. I'm not telling anyone to do this. I eat pretty well. I personally eat organic, whole foods. I change up my diet with my cycle syncing every week. I avoid GMO, gums, oils, preservatives for the most part. Obviously, there's always natural flavors. There's obviously those times where I DoorDash ice cream, or I go out to dinner, or Max really wants these chips and we eat the chips together. Like, I'm not telling you that everything in my household is perfect, but I definitely go out of my way to find the better option for myself, and I really find those brands that I trust, and I always buy those products. And it really does make me feel better mentally, physically. I like it. Continuing on. Movement. I think movement over workout classes is way more important and not overemphasized. People think I'm crazy when I say that, one, our society is way less mobile than it used to be. We have remote jobs now. Classes are online. A lot of people are now either sitting at a desk 9 to 5 or at home, never have to leave their apartment or go anywhere really far at all. And especially if you live in a city that is not walkable. For myself, I live in Orange County. It's centered around cars. It's not centered around bikes and people walking. I think that we just need to be more mobile in general. People are a lot more sedentary. When you look at yourself and when you were a kid, you'd go to school, you'd have recess before school started, then you'd have a recess for maybe 15 minutes, then you would have lunch, and then you would have after school recess until your parents picked you up. And then maybe you went to after school sports. We have been so outside and running around and playing games, and I think also another word could be play. We don't play anymore. Even when I was in college this year, I would go to the gym for an hour, 2 hours, take my dog on walks, walk to class, and then all of a sudden, when you're done with school, when you're an adult, you don't do that stuff anymore, or at least you have to go out of your way to be more mobile. One of the things that people think I'm crazy for saying is there was a study done. I probably could find it and I could link the study, but there's a study done of, let's say two groups of moms, and one group of the mom was told that whatever they were doing in their day-to-day was working out, for instance. So if they were cleaning homes, if they were going to the grocery store, they were moving their body, and that was considered exercise. And then there was another study of the group of the women saying that what they were doing was not exercise and that they had to go out of their way to exercise. And the group that was told that what they're currently doing is exercise actually ended up losing weight. And I'm not saying that being mobile, moving your body is to lose weight, but I'm just saying that the mindset shift of knowing that just walking, doing your day-to-day activities and getting your body up and going and doing exercise, running after your kids is exercise, and you are doing something good for your body. And they actually lost weight because it was more of a mindset shift than actually needing to go do more exercise on top. And when people are told what they're doing is not enough, that they don't move their body enough, when basically they're being told that you're lazy, even maybe they're walking 8,000 steps a day because they're cleaning homes all day. That is exercise. That is moving your body. That is not being sedentary. And I think people just need to realize that it doesn't have to be an hour HIIT workout class to be considered a workout. You don't need to be sweating for it to be a workout class. And there just needs to be, I think, more empathy for the people who can't go and get a workout class or a weight session, and they just have time to do a 10-15 minute walk throughout their lunch break. So step one is just to be more mobile, to just get around, move your body as much as possible. And if you've really never worked out, I don't want you to go get a gym membership on January 1st and go every single day, and then you only go all of January. I think it's a lot more important for you to set the habit and start small, because sometimes that can be very scary or overwhelming when you go and get a gym membership and you don't know any of the exercises or the machines, and there's a ton of people in there and you think everyone is staring at you. 100% understand that. When I first started going to the gym, I only went on the treadmill and used the little dance rooms because I was terrified everyone was staring at me and being like, who's this little girl just coming in here with her little workout plan? Like, I felt very embarrassed and felt like everyone was watching me when really they're not. But I know that's a universal feeling. So if you feel like that, maybe start with walks. That is my favorite thing I talk about all the time. You can go on a short walk. You can either go on a short walk every hour, or you can do a little stretch at your desk, do a lunch break. I'm going to share with you what I did during my 9 to 5 this summer. Every 50 minutes, I took a 10-minute walk. Luckily, I had the flexibility of doing this. I know not everybody does, but basically every time it hit, let's say 8:50, 9:50, the last 10 minutes of that hour, I would go on a walk around the block, and I would kind of time that it would be 5 minutes there, 5 minutes back. But let's say you can't take 10 minutes. Then you're going to walk to the restroom. You're going to walk to go get water, go to the coffee machine. You're going to walk anywhere you can for just 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be 10 minutes. I just did 10 minutes. And by the time I left the work week or the work day, I had about 5,000 to 7,000 steps. And then I just had to do one more long walk at night in the evening after dinner. And then I hit my 10K step goal. Micro breaks will really help you compact time or compact prolonged sitting and help your circulation in your body and give you a mental refresh. There's pretty much every 90 minutes, you're supposed to take about a 20-minute break, and that will help your creativity, your productivity. And every time you skip that 90 minutes, your creativity and your productivity is going to go down. So even though you're pushing through your bathroom break, your lunch break, you're not actually going to be as productive if you just let yourself rest for 5 to 20 minutes. So some ways that you can implement walking more, especially if you're in the working field, is go on a walk and take a meeting, or go on a walk and call a friend. Make yourself feel like you're doing something productive if that is something you struggle with. Like, oh, I don't just want to take a walk. Like, that's a waste of my time. Take your dog on a walk, take your kids, go talk to a friend. I love scheduling friend hangouts with something I already needed to do that day. So running errands, going on a walk, going to get food, like whatever you have to do that day, try to combine it with another habit so you feel you're habit stacking. So you're getting two things done at once. Another thing is during your lunch break, maybe you took 15 minutes to eat your lunch. Go the last 15 minutes, go walk around the block at work. You live near a coffee shop. Instead of driving 5 minutes to that coffee shop, walk the 20 minutes to go. A way to make yourself feel like you're not wasting time is if you're going to walk to the coffee shop, put on a podcast, call a friend, make yourself feel you're doing something productive at the same time, or let yourself go on social media while you go on that walk. I will edit all my social media videos when I go on a walk, so I'm getting that exercise and then I'm also getting my social media done, or I let myself scroll and kind of veg out. Step 2, after you started your workout journey, is to focus on low impact. I am a huge advocate for low impact. I think a lot of people struggle with hormonal imbalances or even inflammation, water retention, and sometimes doing a HIIT class every single day is extremely stressful. Your body hurts, and sometimes you just feel worse after you do it. I went to a spin class the other day, and when I was taking pictures in the mirror, I heard someone say, "Oh, I love going to spin, but I always feel way worse once I leave." And in my head, I'm thinking, you shouldn't feel worse after leaving a workout. You should feel 10 times better. And if you feel worse, your body is telling you that workout was too intense, or maybe you should do it at a different phase in your cycle. Yeah, it's like your body's trying to tell you something and you're surpassing it by saying, "No, I know it's right. I need to do this workout anyways," when really you don't. No one's forcing you to go to a super hard workout and hate yourself while you do it. I know when I finish most workouts, I feel 110% better and have so much more energy for the day, or it makes me really tired so I can go to bed. It just kind of depends when I do that workout and what's the purpose. And then also, high impact exercises like running or a HIIT class can elevate your stress hormones like cortisol. Cortisol is super important for your bodily function. But if you have really high levels already, and doing another HIIT workout is going to elevate them even more and can cause health problems. It can cause hormonal imbalances. It can cause fatigue and injuries and stuff like that. Intense workouts can increase your stress hormones and definitely beneficial in moderation. Excessive high intensity exercise can give you hormonal imbalances, is what I'm trying to explain to you. Okay, so for instance, I do HIIT classes during my ovulatory phase, which is maybe at most a week. This is because your body has more energy, and I think your progesterone and your estrogen is at a high at this point. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But also low intensity workouts is really great. Low intensity workouts is walking, Pilates, yoga. I talk about this all the time. I think also you can do weightlifting as a part of those. But I think for step 2, if you are coming from just walking, maybe you can increase to yoga or Pilates, or maybe a stretch at home workout. But that's like a second thing that you can focus on, but that's not too crazy. Alrighty, step 3. I have a lot of information. I think this is more for the person who already has a pretty set workout schedule and isn't new to the fitness space. First, I want you to try something new. Maybe you are a gym girly and you go to the gym every single day and you've been doing that for a year. Try adding variety into your workout routine, because this keeps it interesting and it also challenges different muscle groups. Something I realized was the more I did the same workout over and over, my body actually expected me to have that workout in that day or work out that muscle group. Your body starts to adjust to your workout schedule. Not only is it fun to try different workouts, but it's also really great for your body so you don't plateau in your workouts. It's very exciting. So I would go out and try a new fitness class maybe, or maybe you've never tried weightlifting. This year tried, what did I try that's new? This year I tried boxing. I took about 2 boxing classes. Definitely something I would do every once in a while, but not something I want to add into my routine. But I think it's definitely fun to try something new with a friend. Maybe you end up loving it. When I first started doing Pilates, I loved it. I want to do it all the time. And then secondly, maybe try something outdoors. Running, jogging. I started doing pickleball with Max. That's one of our favorite hobbies together. I took a pickleball class in college. It's something I can see myself doing for a very long time. I also think that if you're looking for a new exercise, or maybe you only do Pilates and yoga, try weightlifting. Weightlifting helps you build and maintain muscle mass, and it also will improve your metabolism because muscle burns more calories than fat. And I don't want this to be about calories at all, but that is just a scientific fact. And I have weightlifted ever since I was in high school or even middle school. I took a little weight a conditioning class, and then in gymnastics we do conditioning all the time. That's more body weight. But then slowly in high school I started going to the gym. I started going to the gym with my parents, and I learned how to weight lift. I still don't definitely consider myself a weightlifting girl because I see those fitness influencers. I think it definitely shows the most muscle tone, and I feel strong, and it's an accomplishment every time you go up in a weight. So I think that's something that could be something that you might want to try in this new year. Weightlifting is an accomplishment. You can goal set with it, and you see really great results. Another thing you can do if you need to spice up your routine is cycle syncing. I've talked about cycle syncing so much, but cycle syncing your workouts means switching your workouts based off your menstrual cycle, which recognizes your hormonal fluctuations and tailors each exercise to the intensity and accordingly to what phase you're in. This is something I definitely think you should look into. I'm super into it because it forces me to switch up my workouts. I don't get bored. My body doesn't plateau, and I always feel good after a workout. I'm never saying to myself like that girl at Grit saying, "Oh, I always feel so terrible when I work out here." I almost never feel that way unless I accidentally got my workout schedule wrong, or I try to go against my hormones and do something fun with a friend and then realize that was a terrible idea. Another thing is a workout split that kind of goes along with cycle syncing. If you're on hormonal birth control, you technically can't cycle sync, so maybe you just have a workout split. And that means dividing your training routine into specific muscle groups or different days, allowing for a better recovery. And that also lets your body not plateau because you're not doing the same type of workout every single day. You're switching it up, and it's really great for your muscles as well because you're not working them out every single day. You're letting one group rest and recover, and then you'll actually build muscle that way. And then maybe another thing you can start doing is have longer workouts. I am a huge advocate for just starting with 10 minutes a day and then adding up to 20, 30, 40 minutes. And so maybe you started your workout journey and it's a very small amount of time because that's all you can commit, but now you want to invest more time in yourself. So I think that's something, definitely step 3 that you can do in your workout journey. I usually work out for about 45 minutes to an hour, just depends how long the class is. Overall, I think it's super essential for you to listen to your body and stay consistent, and also enjoy the process of discovering what works best for you, because there are so many different ways you can move your body, and you're not going to love all of them. You eventually will find what works for you. So many people, I think, get really scared of the process of finding a workout regimen or moving their body in some way, and it doesn't have to be that complicated, but everyone makes it that complicated. If you're trying to be consistent in the gym and you really don't want to go, just drive there and get on the treadmill for 10 minutes and walk. And if you still want to leave. Building that consistency of just getting your foot in the door is what's going to work for you. Or maybe having a workout buddy, maybe starting with at-home workouts. Just have to try something. And it also doesn't have to be a workout. It could be, like I said, walks, going to the grocery store, just moving your body in general. Next phase I want to talk about is self-love. I think self-love is extremely important when you're trying to become healthier in the new year, because you can't hate yourself into being better. It's not going to work that way. First off, I want to talk about affirmations. So if you don't know what affirmations are, it's positive statements that help you reframe your mindset and build self-confidence. Speaking affirmations regularly will help you reinforce self-perception. So for myself, I'm not the best at doing affirmations. I definitely want to get into it. What has worked for me is creating a list of affirmations that really resonate with myself. So maybe go on Pinterest, look up affirmations. I've talked about this before, but you can download the app I Am, and that will give you a certain set of affirmations every single day for whatever type of category you want. I paid for the year subscription last year. I'm not going to this year, but it definitely was nice to just go on my phone and see a little affirmation pop up and remind myself whatever I need to be reminded that day. I'm actually very excited. My friend Carrie got me a affirmations card set, and that's going to be coming in the mail for Christmas. That's definitely something I'm excited for. You can open up a new affirmation every single day. Mainly my affirmations that I constantly tell myself is I am enough. I am worthy of money, and money, I I'm reading a book about money. A lot of it's your mindset around money. So it's I love money and money loves me back, or I deserve money, or whatever it is. Whatever's your negative thought, you reframe it to an I am, something like that. So I usually tell myself I am enough, I am beautiful, I am intelligent, I am worthy of money, and worthy of love, all those sorts of things. Also, to really help you ingrain that habit of doing affirmations, you can repeat your affirmations daily. So I think having a specific time and place where you're going to do it will be it will actually help you create that affirmation, I think, or that habit. And I think that's why I haven't totally been consistent, because I don't have a time and place I do it. So maybe that's in the shower when you're shampooing your hair, you tell yourself 3 affirmations. Or maybe that's when you're doing your skincare and you're looking yourself in the mirror. For me, I like to journal and write my affirmations. I used to have a journal that would have me do this, but that's something more specific for myself. And the next thing is skincare. Skincare is something for you to prioritize yourself. It helps you find a routine. Skincare helps you prioritize yourself. That is about 5 to 10 minutes every morning, every night. That is just for you, that you are only bettering yourself. I actually love my skincare routine. My skincare routine is 3 days a week I exfoliate, 2 days a week I use retinol, and then 2 days a week I do hydrating mask, gua sha, the whole thing. And I think finding a routine that works for your skin and your time is very important. You can't look on social media and copy someone else's routine who doesn't have your skin complexion. I learned that the hard way. I was taking advice from a bunch of my friends who do not have acne. It made me break out more because they weren't using acne safe products because they don't have acne. You have to advocate for yourself. You have to find out a skincare routine that works for you. And slowly but surely, I'm finding that for myself. Another thing for self-love or just for yourself is you need to learn to say no. This will protect your time, your energy. You have to understand that saying no is a form of self-respect, not selfishness. I think I had to learn this year I'm still learning this because I take on so much. Literally right now I have 2 jobs, a podcast, a dog. I'm in school trying to do social media and a podcast. I might have already said that. I'm doing a lot right now, and I have to pretty much say no to my social life to grow my dreams, to grow money, and to grow what's most important to me right now, which I hate, but at the same time, I hopefully will be proud of myself for doing this in the future. Definitely, I should have said no to some things, but I don't want to go back on it now. But saying no can mean taking on extra task at work or hanging out with a friend, going out at night, whatever it is. For me, I currently say no to hanging out with someone more than once a week, unless it's family or max. And that's really hard to do, but sometimes going to bed earlier is way more important than me going out to the bars. Lastly, about self-love is you need to forgive yourself. This year, to be a healthier person overall, you have to forgive yourself. You have to stop shaming yourself. You have to acknowledge that all the mistakes you've had is okay, and that you need to understand that it's all a part of the learning process. This is our first time on earth. This is our first time run around. We're not going to be perfect. We're going to make mistakes. And you have to be kind to yourself. You have to have some self-compassion and treat yourself as you would treat one of your friends. If one of your friends made that mistake, you probably wouldn't talk as badly as them as you would talk to yourself, because they probably wouldn't be your friend if you were that mean to them. Also, what I try to do is focus on the present rather than dwelling on the past mistakes, more in the sense of maybe anxiety the next morning. I don't really look back on everything I did that night because I can't change it anymore. Obviously, there's scenarios, let's say past friendships. I definitely think back on that a lot, and I definitely should move on, but that's something that's a little bit more ingrained in my brain than other things. But you have to remember, you did the best you knew at the time. You did the best with the knowledge you had. You did the best with the circumstances, and moving forward, you would do something differently. I think that's the most important thing, is that you look back on it, you accept it, and you know that you wouldn't make that mistake again. And also, self-love is an ongoing journey. You're not just going to figure it out one day and that be the end of it. And it's okay for you to evolve and adapt and change things as you go, because we're not the same person we were last year, 2-3 years ago. We're always changing, and that's so beautiful. I think that's the most beautiful part about being a human, is that we are ever changing. I tell Max all the time that I fall in love with the new version of him all the time. I'm going to fall in love with the guy that I first met, and then I fell in love with the guy guy that I met in college, and then I fell in love with the guy that is now a professional baseball player. I keep falling in love with the same man every single year because he is ever changing and he's never going to be the same. And by the time we're old and crinkly, I'm going to have loved 10, 20 different men in my life, but it's all max. Okay, this one does have steps. It's mental health. I think our mental health is so very important. Step 1, I would say, is to put aside your tasks. I think as a society, we need to surrender the need to always be doing something, especially if you're an overachiever or if you have anxiety. It's kind of crazy because I have depression that makes me want to do nothing. But then I also have the anxiety side of my brain that's like, oh my God, you're not finishing this, and this. You can't relax. What are you doing? It's definitely a societal pressure to always be doing something, to always be productive, that reading is a waste of time, that whatever you're doing is a waste of time, and there are so many other things you can be doing. I know so many people have that thought in their mind, and society always tells us that we constantly have to be busy, which attributes to stress and anxiety and feeling never accomplished. So I think step 1, it's very important for you to set boundaries with yourself. Maybe not bringing work to home, getting your homework done when you're at school. You have to have a lot of boundaries with your time and your work hours and your personal task and vice versa. You don't want to bring your personal tasks into work or your work into your home life. You want to keep it pretty separate, because then when you come home from work or you come home from school, you're on a different wavelength. Your brain knows that it's time to do X, Y, and Z. This is the perfect example of not doing homework or work in your bed, because then when you go into bed, your brain's not going to associate your bed with sleeping. It's going to associate your bed with doing homework, doing work, being productive, having your brain continually going. And so that's why I make it super important that my couch is for relaxing, it's for work, it's for homework, my table is for homework and work, but my bed is for sleeping and sleeping only. And then another thing for your mental health is do one thing for yourself a day, whether that's your skincare, doing a sauna session, doing a walk. My journal every single day, it asks me what's one self-care thing that I did. And usually it's even you made yourself dinner, or you had dessert, or you did a sauna, you had tea. The simplest task, you have to just give yourself 5, 10, 20 minutes just for yourself and nobody else. Step 2 is you're going to start journaling. I put journaling in step 2 because for myself, that's a habit that's been really hard for me to create. Journaling is great for tracking your personal goals, for mind dumping, for doing affirmations, write down anything cool that's really happened to you. I have loved going back to my old journals and reading where my headspace was and trying to just understand myself, or read stories of the day and be like, oh my gosh, I totally remember that. I think it's the best way to track your progress in life and look back on how much you've grown. Another thing that you can start doing for your mental health is reading. The easiest way to set up a habit with reading is to set a specific time and day that you're going to do it every single day. For me, it's around 8 o'clock. I will start reading, and I'll read for about until 9, and then I go to bed at 9. This helps you know exactly when you're going to do it, what day, what time, and you'll actually get it done. And it's more, especially if you're a to-do list person, it'll help you do that. Also with reading, there's so many genres. There's fiction, sci-fi, there's romance, autobiographies. Just start with something you really like. I started with self-help books and business books, and then I slowly, gradually went into self-development fiction, and I love romance books now. I think I have kind of steered away from the self-development this year. I think I overdosed on self-development because you're doing all this self-work without being supervised by a professional. And so I loved reading romance books because it gave me an escape and let myself, honestly, my vocabulary got better, my speaking skills. I'm more of an interesting person. I have more conversations to bring up with people, especially if they read. Maybe you can even join a book club or join an online reading community. There's so much that you can do with books, and so many people that love to read. And also reading, there's so many topics, so you can always find something you're interested in, and it gives you a different perspective on life. You'll learn things even from reading romance books. I learn things from different cities. I get tidbits of quotes that I think are very powerful and help me look at my relationship differently. So reading can be productive even if it's not a self-development book. sort of going along with books is podcasts. Listening to a podcast like this one is so beneficial. Podcast is a super easy and convenient way for you to learn, to challenge your thoughts, to build community with someone who's like-minded as you, and also stay informed. I recently started listening to The Daily because I'm not wanting to follow the news, and sometimes people will bring up stories and I felt so naive for knowing nothing about them. And I'm not a huge component of the news because I think it's a little bit too much information, but sometimes I listen to it. It's a 10-minute discussion on baseball this past episode. So that's something very interesting to me because my boyfriend is a baseball player. And also there's podcasts like this one where it's a lot about self-development or 20s or health and wellness. And that can be very comforting to just listen to someone who's in a similar headspace as you or somewhere you want to be as well. A way for you to make these happen in step 2 as a habit is to create a routine. Sort of how I explain for reading a book is maybe you have a set time each day, each week for listening to a podcast, for journaling, and having a routine will help you make it a part of your life, not just doing it whenever you think of it. And also you can combine these activities together. For instance, if you're journaling, maybe you're journaling about the book you just read, or maybe you're going on a walk and you're listening to a podcast, or you're journaling while you listen to a podcast. Combining activities is really, really great for you to habit stack and kill one bird with 2 stones. I think that's the saying. Also, if you set goals, this is really helpful. So, for instance, my goal this year was to read 36 books. I think I only read 30, which is totally fine. The year prior, my goal was to read 12 books and I read 30 books. I just had a little bit of an extra goal for myself, but I didn't read as much this year, I felt. Maybe it's a specific goal in reading 10 pages a day, or maybe listening to 1 podcast a week. Something like that where it's super simple. It helps you feel accomplished. You just feel better about yourself. Step 3 is to go to therapy. This is definitely step 3 because starting therapy can be very scary for some people. It's also a huge step, so that's why I started with journaling, stuff like that. Therapy provides you a safe space and confidential space to explore your thoughts, your feelings, and make sure that you're being supervised by a professional. Before going to therapy, doing your research is super important on finding the therapist who specializes in whatever you want to work at. So let's say anxiety, depression, relationship issues. Just going to a generalized therapist and hoping that they specialize in whatever you're struggling with is difficult because you may be wasting your time. You might have a bad experience. Doing a little bit more of your research will help you prevent any issues coming up. When you're researching for what type of therapist, make sure that the modality that they use resonates with you. For instance, there's cognitive behavioral therapy, there's psychoanalytical, there's mindfulness based. I really loved the approach my therapist in college had. That's very important. Another thing with going to therapy is you have to have a few goals. For instance, for yourself, try to understand what you hope to achieve through therapy. It could be managing stress, improving your relationships, building self-esteem, or maybe a specific issue that you're going through. You have to be super communicative with your therapist. You have to share your goals. You have to open the communication and the expectations you have with them, and this will help you have the best experience possible and be a more collaborative approach, and also being honest. I definitely was not honest with my therapist. Maybe not dishonest, but I wouldn't share the things that were actually bothering me. I'd kind of talk about everything else going on in my life because I was just afraid to speak about it anyways. But being open and honest with your therapist is going to help you save your time, save your energy, and build a better relationship with your therapist. Therapy can be super expensive, so don't waste an hour of your money and their time on talking about stuff you don't actually need to talk about. You can provide feedback to your therapist about what is and isn't working for you. They know how to take that feedback and tailor their approach to you. I know it's scary. I don't always do that, but definitely something you should think about. I stopped therapy this year, but I still look back on all the milestones and progress I made in therapy and recognize the positive change it had, no matter how small. I didn't not get anything from therapy. I didn't do therapy for 3 years and think it was a waste waste of my time. I learned so much. I learned so much about myself. She helped me go through a lot of friend breakups and relationship issues and body confidence. I don't know where I would be emotionally, physically without therapy, and I'm so grateful for Cal Poly for providing that. Now we're kind of done with the steps to be healthy in this new year and how you can achieve that, but I want to go over some simple pleasures, just kind of rocket fire some things that I think will encompass this entire episode. So first off, sunlight. It's the synthesis of vitamin D, which is super important for your bone health and mood regulation. This is more of a section for you to get just small tidbits to remind yourself what to do, okay? Secondly, get off your phone. Your phone will give you stress and anxiety. Maybe set designated times to disconnect from your phone, especially during meal times and before bed. Find activities in your life that don't involve screens. Working out, doing pickleball, hanging out with a friend, put your phone away. Eat well, move your body, put your phone down again, sleep in, set times aside on the weekend or days off to just catch up on sleep. So important for you. Okay, those are just little simple pleasures I just wanted to shoot off at you. I'm going to share with you some of my New Year's resolutions that I want to go into the next year. I think the most important ones that I accomplished this year was I still read 30 books even if I didn't reach my goal. And doing my health coach certification right now. I graduated college. I moved to Orange County. I think those are my main ones, and I traveled almost every month. Now let's talk about what I want to do this in this next year. I definitely think I want to go back to Europe or somewhere tropical. I definitely want to take a trip with Max. I want to make 1 to 2 solid friends in Orange County. I have already met a few people I absolutely love and can see myself being friends with them. So I just need to continue hanging out with people once a week and building that connection, because making a friend takes hours and hours and you just have to put in that time and energy with them. Or next is I want to be more present with my relationships. I definitely get distracted by my phone or think about myself, and I just need to be more engaged in the conversation and be a better listener. I want to finish my health coaching license. I want to find a new hobby, specifically something creative. I want to post a podcast episode every single week, and I also want to have an interview once a month. That is something I'm super excited about. Next is I want to heal from mold toxicity. I am probably 1.5 months in, and I still have a month and a half left to go, but I'm excited to feel better. And also I just want to feel better in general. I've dealt with a lot of health issues within the past couple of years, and I want to feel good every single day and know that I've regulated my hormones. I don't have any toxicities in my body, and I'm doing everything I can to just feel good every single day. My body is very sensitive. I'm super in tune with it. It's definitely a little bit more of a struggle than when I had no idea. Next is I want to love myself more. I think self-love is definitely something I want to prioritize. Not specific goals, just I want to be more confident in myself, be nicer to myself pretty much. Next is for money. I want to save more and invest more. I didn't invest as much as I wanted to, but I did save percent-wise way more than I anticipated, and I'm very proud of myself for that. So I'm definitely going to, this next year, be a lot more minimal, try not to purchase as many unnecessary things, kind of gorge out my apartment, donate things, get rid of things that I just cause clutter. And that also goes in with saving more. I'd rather save less and travel more than not save and buy a bunch of stuff. And then also I want to eat less sugar. That's more of something I want to do, a little detox, not necessarily the whole year. I'm just not gonna have sugar, but I'm kind of addicted to sugar, so I need to stop eating so many sweets. But I need to figure out, that's more of a little challenge for myself to consume less sugar, because I swear it's probably making me have acne. I don't really know. But this is the longest episode I've ever had so far. If you've listened this far, I appreciate you. Please give the pod some love on Instagram, My Perspective Pod. Give the show a rating, share it with a friend. That is the best way for people to hear about the show. And I'm so excited for this new year. Happy New Year. I hope this is the best one yet. There's so many great things coming. I'm just so proud of myself and all of you guys for putting yourself first, putting your health first, and accomplishing everything you've ever wanted to accomplish. I hope you have a great new year, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.